Well, at least I tried. There's a lot of peace that comes with that. I live a life where regret is worse than failure. So when you could look yourself in the mirror, when you could be honest with yourself and you could legitimately say, at least I tried, it brings great peace. You know, all of us intuitively and innately, we seek to know the truth. And you have to know the truth. You got to know the truth about you. You got to know the truth of what you can accomplish. You got to know the truth about love. You got to know the truth about everything. But when you could reach a place and you could say to yourself, at least I tried, it brings great peace. And on your journey, we all fail. You know, as successful of many things that I have done on my journey, I've accomplished many things on my journey. I've failed many times. And tonight, I can leave this message in the energy of at least I tried. And it's going to bring a great peace to your everyday life. Because if you don't know the answer, if you don't truthfully know, if you don't even try, you're going to sit and you're going to stir, not knowing the answers. And it's going to, really give you a difficult time sitting there questioning the truth of things. And when you can thoroughly say, I gave it my best, I gave it a shot, I gave it a try, because, doing new things is quite scary. And in order to accomplish great things, you're going to have to put yourself in positions. You're going to have to try things where you might get hurt emotionally, right? You could deal with heartache. You could deal with pains. But you could say to yourself, at least I tried. I know how I authentically am and the things that I normally do. And sometimes you could say to yourself, you know what? Maybe it's time to listen to my heart and soul and try something different. So, sitting in this energy and knowing how I normally am and, knowing that I tried something different, listening to the heart and the soul. And, this always is the best way. Even though you fail, at least you know the answer. I've totally revamped and changed my life. And, I share about how I used to dream. I used to dream about the palm trees, right? We got the palm trees all around us here. And I was able to accomplish things because I followed my heart and my soul. And I tried something new. And I was able to accomplish so many things in life, changing, my whole structure of my everyday, day-to-day existence, and have an existence that is more in alignment with me. I'm walking down a little strip over here. It reminds me of a place in Brooklyn. Reminds me of a street called Emmons Avenue. It's a little strip. And there's, restaurants just like it is over here. And, you walk along the water just like this. My friends that have come from back home to visit me, I said, this is Emmons Avenue South. And as I could walk down this strip tonight, I can reflect on, the things that I tried. I tried things and it worked. And I was able to accomplish great things, and I did what many people struggle to do, leaving their job, leaving a life that they grew up over the years, something that is familiar and comfortable. Familiarity, being familiar and comfortable with a location or a job or a way of life. To sit and say, you know what, there's so much more for me. And if I never tried the things in the past to get me to where I am, I still be sitting in the same loop. When it comes to your spirit or your spiritual journey, your ascension, you want to think of the spiral. And the spiral is for expansion. If you are stuck in the ego, then you are stuck in a loop. All right. So I want you all to know that as we continue our journey. The loop, you could say to yourself, you know what? I keep getting the same situation. Are you responding the same way? So on my journey, I know this, and I practice what I preach. And I'm always a man of my word. And I said to myself, I feel like I need to do something different, something that I won't normally do. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to leave my ego at the door, and I'm going to try. And I'm going to try for something. I'm going to try for something that I've never tried for before, pretty much in my life. And, I do a lot of reflection, and, I can say that, these are the experiences that I want to have. These are the things that I want to draw into my life. Well, guess what? Just like I drew in a higher vibrational surrounding that is more on my vibrational frequency, similar to what I had in the past. All right. But in order for me to get here, I had to try. And we could try. And we could get hurt, we could fail, we could fall flat on our face. Oh, your Uncle Mike fell flat on his face, Light Warriors. Yeah, I did. But I'm leaving this message, at least try. You got to try things. And you know what? You fail, you could get hurt. I got hurt pretty bad. But this is the journey. We all kind of get hurt and deal with, heartbreaks. The ego gets hurt. But ultimately, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off. But I'm here to tell you, regret is worse than failure. Okay? So this is an energy of a time when I failed. I don't like to say that there are mistakes in life because they're teachable moments. And when you go through the hardships, when you go through the flop on the floor, you just fall flat on your face. It's funny in a sense, but I'm actually very proud of myself. Sometimes we also get to a place where we say, why do we even bother? Okay, this is actually, for me, this is why we bother. So when we have a beautiful change in our everyday life, I could go to the past and I could think of that little strip where I used to live, and I would see the sailboats, right? But to go back there and say I'm gonna experience that all again, it's not for me. So to now be experiencing something, this is the reason why we do bother. And I get that. I know some of you might feel that, and we all say to ourselves, why even bother? And going through this in the now moment, I sit with it and I say, why even bother? Why do I even bother? You got to put yourself out there, because regret is worse than failure. And when you sit in limbo, all right, so this is going to happen for anything in your everyday life. When it comes to a job, when it comes to maybe going to a new location, if it's seeking love, if you're going with your heart and you're going with your soul, and you gotta know the truth. All right, when you are sitting there and you are stirring and you're not knowing the answer, and sometimes there's miscommunications, maybe there's misunderstandings, but you're going to have to move forward, and you're going to have to try. And if at the end of the day you could look yourself in the mirror when that head hits the pillow at night, and you could say to yourself, well, at least I tried, there's a lot of peace to that. And you know, I that's how I'm wired. I tend to stir not knowing the truth, or saying, you know what, maybe there's something that is for me that's out there, and I gotta know. Okay, we are all lions. Okay, your Uncle Mike is a lion. Curiosity gets the cat. Okay, so sometimes we're curious of certain things and we just need to know. But regret is worse than failure. You will have regret in your everyday life. I would have such regret if I wasn't walking down here, okay, seeing the ships come ashore. Okay, I would be in such regret if I went back to my old stage of life. And when we want to break through what's called a frequency fence, I call it a frequency fence, there are levels and layers to your everyday life. And you know, I've accomplished things and said, I'll never experience that, or I can't wait to experience that. And then it became part of my reality. So now when it comes to new things that we want to bring into our everyday life, and maybe you say, I never accomplished that. It's very difficult if you have no firsthand experience, if you've never truthfully experienced something. So it takes a lot of energy, activational energy. You're gonna have to do trial and error, and you might fall flat on your face like your Uncle Mike did. And you know, I'm leaving this message for all of you because it really is such an important role for my journey. Knowing that I always tried, I always gave my best at anything, but when you have uncertainty, when you are sitting with something in limbo, I like to know the answer. Okay, sometimes we can't know the answer, but then we have the ability to take a shot, and it might be something that you don't normally do. And that's where I'm at. And I tried something that I don't normally do because I know how my ego is, and in a certain way, because it keeps us protected. And you know, I try to, you know, say, you know what, my heart is telling me something else, my soul is telling me something else, and I was totally wrong. And I made a mistake, and that's part of our journey. And you know, the highs, the lows, but when you could say, at least I tried, it's so powerful. We could be comfortable doing the same thing. So you could be single, and you're single your whole life and you're comfortable, okay, but there was something so much better for you. Or maybe you were in a relationship, and you're in this relationship, but it's you're comfortable in that relationship, and there are things that are waiting for you that are so much better, okay, but you just sit there and you kept doing the same thing, staying in the same situation and not changing. When you at least attempt, and you know, if it doesn't work out, you know, you get hurt, you stumble, you fall flat on your face, at least you could rest well at night knowing, at least I tried, at least you did what you needed to do, and you got the answer. Ultimately, we're all on a quest, a never-ending quest of knowing the truth. So not only do we want to know the truth about the world, I think a lot of people, you know, they're out there, and you know, you have questions about everything. Well, we want to have the answers for our personal everyday life, the people, the things, the situations, the subconscious programs, the things that we run. We want to know the truth, and we're on a never-ending quest for truth. And I'm just being raw, and I'm being you know, authentic, and this is the journey. It's not a perfect journey, but in the end, if you can look in the mirror, if your head hits the pillow at night and you could say, at least I tried, you will be at peace. And if that resonates with you, leave a comment. Maybe you've gone through something like that, or maybe there's something maybe you're scared of doing. You know, listen, I get scared of things. I'm scared of things as well, especially when it's something that I don't normally do. But I practice what I preach. I tried, and I failed. And you know, you have to realize that. Okay, we're all going to fail. We're going to fail many times. We're going to fall flat on our face many times, but we get up, and it's part of our journey. Because ultimately, don't you want to know the truth? Okay, and that's really, it's so powerful when you actually know the truth. When you know the truth about your life, I think more and more people are waking up to this. You don't want to live a lie, and authenticity is the highest state of consciousness. So when you are living in truth, and you got the truth, and you do the things that call you from your heart and your soul, and you weren't afraid, okay? And we can be afraid, but when you're afraid to not take the leap, okay? I could have been afraid. I could say, I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm going to live there my whole life because I'm afraid, right? And if I go back in my mind and I said I'm going to go back to that situation, I wouldn't be able to handle that anymore. So I'm grateful. Regret is worse than failure. You will have regret. So tonight, as we are viewing the beautiful strip, the beautiful scenery, we want to live our life without fear. Or better yet, because we will go through the fear, push through the fear. Push through the fear, because in the end, you got the answer. If you, in any aspect of your everyday life, if you could say, at least I tried, and a lot of you have been watching my journey, and you see, sometimes I try different things. I'm always trying new things. I'm not always the same. No one could ever take that away from you when you tried. Okay, there's going to be people out there, they'll make fun of you, right? And things might not work out for you, but at least you tried. There's a bunch of people out there, I'm talking right to you, Light Warrior. There's a bunch of people out there, and they might make fun of you, but if you wake up and you say, at least I tried, a lot of those people didn't try. Tonight I could say, at least I tried. And I move forward. That's all we could do. It's not a perfect journey. It's an authentic journey. If this message resonates with you, please click the like button, click the subscribe button. We have daily videos, 9 a.m. Eastern time, to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Let's get back into balance. Let's get back into alignment and start living your everyday life today. I know you could have fear, but take the leap of faith. Regret is worse than failure. Hit the pillow at night and say to yourself, at least I tried. That's all you could do. If you tried and you did the best that you could do, there's nothing else. There's nothing else that you could do beyond that. So I love you all. We have Facebook, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, daily videos here on YouTube. Stay empowered. Leave a comment. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, Light Warriors, just keep going. Just sailing along like these ships.